Hello everyone, this is Karina Paskalov from our Bio 101 class, and this week we were asked to either take a video format and to show the change in pH and what we think that pH level would be and what it would be classified as. And I decided that the perfect thing to be able to test a pH change and to decipher what that pH balance would be an aquarium and fish tank. And the reason for this is because aquariums and fish tanks are often and commonly tested for their pH balances because they have living organisms. We know that pH is often tested with living organisms for livability. Fish are no exception to this, and fish also need certain levels of pH that do differ from humans of what levels that they can take, and they do have that sort of exception. Fish tend to tolerate a wide variety of pH balances. This is depending on the breed, because the breed often tells us where the fish came from, and where the fish came from has a differing temperature. So the water will obviously be different, whether it is more acidic, more neutral, or more alkaline in base. And so I decided to test, to demonstrate sort of what a pH change would be for my fish tank specifically. So there does need to be a little bit of background with this. I have blood cichlid parrotfish, or blood parrotfish, and these fish are from Taiwan, which comes from a warmer climate, and so the pH for these fish are obviously different. Fish tend to prefer about a pH from 6.5 to 7.0, but these fish tend to prefer a 7.0 and can deal up to with 8, but they do also tend to like pH balances at around 7.6. And so what's actually really cool is that for fish owners and aquarium hobbyists to be able to check the pH, it's relatively easy because there are specific drops that are made to test the pH of your water, and they do use sort of a color chart in order to decipher the pH. That looks like this, that we commonly use within our own science class. So my prediction is, if I take the water out, we should see it in the 7.0 to 7.6 range. It should be a deeper blue because this fish tank wasn't cleaned as recently, so it's not going to be at, it was not cleaned as recently, so this fish tank will not be at like a 7.0, and because these fish tend to prefer a more softer alkaline water, it will be more closer towards the bottom in color. And so we're able to test that with having a 5 ml tube, and this is just to show that I did not grab water from really any other source. So we're just gonna test that real quick. So let's get a little more. And the accuracy of these things are obviously quite well because these products are specifically made. So, and then what's really cool is if a fish tank is having issues with its pH balance, there are ways that you can make the pH go up with these sort of solutions, or the pH go down. And so what I'm using is a tap water that had water conditioner that is made safe for fish, so it should be more at a alkaline level. So again, our hypothesis is that it is going to turn a more darker blue, especially for the type of fish and for when the tank was cleaned. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, and already the second it hits, we see that it's at a blue. If we shake this up, we see that automatically the water is at a 7.6, which is normal, and it's good for these fish, and it is livable. And also just a good indicator of when the pH is also good is, although fish can tolerate multiple different pH levels, the pH should be more so not just tolerable, but it should be when they should be able to reproduce within the pH range that they're in. These fish have reproduced multiple times, so clearly that's another indicator that the pH balance is good, because living organisms tend to reproduce the best, especially in water, when they're at the pH balance at where they should be. But yeah, so that is that. If I were to leave the tank alone for a very long time and didn't clean up their waste, there would be a lot of pneumonia, and the water would turn more yellow. Obviously, I'm very glad to not be able to demonstrate that, because it means that we're doing everything that we should to keep these fish healthy and clean. But yeah, that's basically how I know that the water has changed, because it indicates not just so with the color, but with the other factors that go into account for understanding why a pH balance looks the way that it does. So, thank you for watching.